Hi everybody, very little short stoma sort of question slash story for you. So I don't know if you know this is possible with stomas, but it's really difficult to try and say without freaking people out. So there's this thing that can happen with your stoma. I think this is like very unusual, but if it doesn't attach internally properly or something's not quite right from an anatomical point of view, there can be this thing that happens where your large intestine sticks out really, as in it comes out the stoma hole like a lot. And I noticed the last time I saw my surgeon, which was probably about 6 weeks ago, my stoma was kind of sticking out, maybe like 3 or 4 centimeters, maybe about an inch for those of you that still use the old measurement systems. And it sticks out when I'm warm or if I'm working my core a lot or if it gets pushed. So I don't proactively do the push on purpose, but if you're sneezing, you're contracting your core. If you're blowing your nose, you're contracting your core. And if I'm working out, I'm also contracting my core as part of whatever movements. So I was worried that, this might happen to me. So I asked my surgeon, it sticks out a little bit, especially when it's warm or if I'm doing this stuff. And he was like, how much? Why, like, how much? So he could tell what I was talking about. I was like, oh, about this much. And he's like, oh, you don't need to worry unless it's like 20 or 30 centimeters out your body. I was like, oh my God, my mind is blown. Like, can you imagine? Like, something the length of this sticking out, yeah. Like part of your organs, my God. So, I had worried about this happening, but the 3 centimeters thing's normal and the 20 to 30 centimeters is not. So my mind was put at ease after I spoke to him that my stoma is normal. But I've been really conscious, even though he said that, I still don't like it when it sticks out because it feels a bit funny and it kind of creates a lump in my stoma bag, and I don't know, it's just a little bit uncomfortable, and I always feel a bit scared when I'm sneezing or whatever. So I finally found a solution at 2 o'clock in the morning last night. Way. I had to change my bag because with it being really warm, it's poking out more and the hole is slightly bigger. And the stoma bag hole that I cut was too small and it was causing me discomfort. And when it needed to be replaced in the middle of the night, which is very unusual. Normally I don't need to do that, but I had to get up and change the bag. And when I took it off, but there'd been a bit that was rubbing against my large intestine, especially when it was contracting. And there was like a little bit of blood and stuff because your large intestine's full of blood cells, which is what gives it its pink, bright red colouring. And any like little grease or anything, it bleeds. I don't feel it because your large intestine doesn't have any nerve cells in it, thankfully. But, the blood is bright red and, it was much more than just like a little drip. So I'm like sticking it on, trying to make it shrink so I can get the bag over at the stoma, and eventually got in. And once you've stuck the stoma bag on, you need to have a warm hand and kind of place it. See if I can show you. Kind of just place it like this, and that helps the adhesive to stick especially with warm hands. It just helps warm the adhesive up and it helps it stick to your body. And while I was doing that, I'd been out a walk late last night while the football was on, and had walked through a field, and I had hay fever, and that I didn't take anything for before bed, and I kind of had like a sneeze attack, and I was conscious through the sneeze attack this might pop out, even though my surgeon said it definitely won't. And I just like held my hand over it strongly, finished my sneezes, and then I was like, God, so simple. I've been worried something might pop out and blah, 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 and I just need to put my fist like that or my hand over it for 5 seconds while I do whatever it is, and it just gives me a little bit of reassurance mentally, and means it's not popping out on its own kind of thing. So yeah, that's probably something you would never think about from a person who's never had a stoma, but that's the kind of things that kind of happen on a day-to-day basis that causes a little bit of mental energy that really shouldn't be there. So that's 2 things that I've been wasting mental energy on emotional energy, worrying about it. And just a tiny little tweak has completely removed that from me. So I had this thing here, hand over, and I think I had the bags that I was using were clear on the front, which was helpful for me to monitor in the early days. But I realised that I was getting a bit stressed from looking at my own poo multiple times a day whenever I lifted my top up. So just moving to the opaque ones, like these ones where I physically can't see the poo, my God, what a difference. So yeah, I'm really pleased. Those 2 tiny, tiny little tweaks have just taken away some emotional and mental pain and worry, which means that's not getting drawn on anymore, and I can use my energy for higher value things. So yeah, funny little stupid story, some insight into what it's like to be a stoma patient, and maybe just I had a couple of things that were tiny, tiny little blockers that were drawing energy from me, that because I've had some time to recover and I've been in a space of reflection, I've been able to find a solution for taking those away. So yeah, maybe there's things in your life that they might not be massive, but they might just be tiny, tiny little thing that's taken some focus and energy away from the things that are most important. What can you do to fix them? So it might not be as simple as putting your hand over a stoma hole or changing the type of stoma bag, but yeah, you never know. There might be something in there for your health and fitness or your career or your personal development. So let me know if you think of anything. That's me, over and out. See you in the next video.